All right, let's dive into this one. We're looking at a really key chapter from The Chronicle of Effeldern, where our heroes are coming home after a pretty brutal adventure. You'd think there'd be a huge celebration, right? Well, what they find instead are some truths that are way, way heavier than any monster they've ever had to fight.
So, get this. Our story kicks off in a town called Mineral, but we're not starting in some dark dungeon with swords clashing. Nope, we're in a tavern, and it is packed. Our adventurers have cooked up this wild plan not to survive, but to make some serious coin by turning a fight into a full-blown performance for a cheering crowd.
So this is where we get into our first big theme. A little deception, a lot of gold, and a surprising moment of disenchantment. The party's clever trick works like a charm and gets them paid, but for one of them, it also leads to this quiet, really profound moment of clarity.
And the payoff for their little show? A cool 1,200 gold pieces. I mean, that's a massive win. 500 of that goes straight to the star of the show, Okazaki, and the rest gets split among the party. You gotta admit, the plan worked perfectly.
And here's the play-by-play of how they pulled it off. It was like a perfectly choreographed dance. First, Thane, one of our heroes, takes a super convincing fall. The crowd gasps. Then, just when they think it's all over, he gets up, all dramatic. And for the big finish, he drops Okazaki, just like they rehearsed. The place goes absolutely nuts, totally buying the whole thing.
But, the morning after is where things get interesting. Okazaki's got all this gold, right? But he doesn't go blow it on ale and festivities. Instead, he goes back to a local smithy to check out this beautiful katana he'd been eyeing before. This isn't about buying a new toy. It's something else.
And this is the moment. The light bulb goes off. He's looking at this masterfully made sword, but he sees nothing. No magic, no special aura. It's just stuff. And by walking away from it without even a second thought, he's basically telling us something big has changed inside him. He's not chasing that kind of power anymore.
Okay, so with that new mindset, the party finally heads for home. After a whole month away battling gnolls and uncovering some pretty dark stuff, they're going back to Apeldoorn, the very town they saved.
And wow, what a difference a month makes. I mean, look at this. The town they left as a smoldering ruin is, well, it's reborn. There's a strong wooden palisade protecting it, new buildings are standing tall, and their own farmhouse, which had been burned down, has been completely rebuilt, bigger and better than before. A silent thank you from the people they saved.
And the town's gratitude? It's literally carved into the walls of the Golden Apple Inn. They made this spot the Gnoll's Bane Corner. It's a permanent place of honor with the heads of the gnolls they killed mounted on the wall. It's part trophy, part warning. The town has turned them into living legends. But right in the middle of all of this celebration, while everyone's cheering their names, two of our heroes just slip away. They need to deal with some much more private, much heavier burdens. They go looking for the local priest, Father Eric, because each of them is carrying something that needs a different kind of healing.
And you can see here, they're on completely different missions. Talonor, he's on a quest for knowledge, for wisdom. He's trying to figure out this missing verse from a holy text. But Okazaki, he's looking for freedom. He wants a curse lifted, not just from his armor, but from his very soul.
So Father Eric, he does his best. He helps Talonor, mends the torn page so he can read the lost words. He prays over Okazaki for the curse to be lifted. But even after all that, you know that feeling when a problem's not really solved? The air is just thick with it. You can feel the tension. Something is still very, very wrong.
And that tension, yeah, it's about to snap. After leaving the priest, Okazaki makes one more stop, a private one. He goes to see the town's potion keeper, Ivory Springs. And this is where the emotional core of the whole story just gets ripped wide open.
So you have to ask yourself, right? What could she possibly tell him that's bigger than ancient curses and lost gods? Whatever it is, it's about to change everything.
And boom, there it is, the truth. It's simple, and it's absolutely life-shattering. Ivory Springs tells him she's pregnant, and what's more, she confirms she was already pregnant before he even left for the Gnoll Den a month ago. This isn't a maybe, it's real.
His reaction is, wow. It's just as stunning. No questions, no joy, no anger, nothing. He just buys a potion of water breathing, says, I have to leave, and walks out the door. Just cold, immediate, and completely unexplained. So,
You can imagine the scene when the party finally gets back together. They are an absolute mess. Okazaki's personal bomb has left them totally adrift, with no idea what to do next. But then, a promise they'd all forgotten about comes back to the surface.
And then, in the middle of all this chaos, Cedric, another party member, speaks up. He quietly reminds them of something they'd all completely forgotten about. His own father is lost, probably dead, somewhere deep inside the mountain right next to them. And suddenly, all that aimless despair, it has a target.
And just like that, they have a new purpose. The path forward is suddenly crystal clear. They'll start at the Amber Bear Caves, push deep into the mountain, and try to find the last place Cedric's father was seen, a hidden dwarven kingdom called Hammerdeep.
This right here is the big turning point. As they start packing their bags again, you can feel that everything has changed. They're not doing this for gold anymore, not for glory. This is about blood. It's about memory. It's about the heavy, heavy weight of all these unfinished stories.
And that really leaves us with this final, kind of heavy thought, doesn't it? As they get ready to leave Awful again, the very town they poured their blood into saving, there's no doubt they're stronger. They're better fighters, they're more powerful. But all the victories and the gold now feel hollow, buried under these new personal burdens. They're leaving with hearts that are so much heavier than any treasure they could ever hope to find.